So, what have I been getting out of creating a life of struggle? I mean, why the heck would I create this for myself? Again, no sense at all. If you're doing some inner work, you've learned, you know that we created patterns to get us what we needed in life. And those patterns as adults don't make sense, but they're ingrained, they're there, and they are a driving force in the reality that we create for ourselves. Hello, beautiful. And how are you doing today? Many of us have quite a bit of struggle in our life. We find life to be hard. And to get through it, to get us here where we are, we've had to be strong. We are strong, but we're also tired of being strong. I know I am. And this tired of being strong thing is a motivation for me at the moment to want to change my life. I think sensitive people have more of that sense of struggle in our lives because we've struggled with how to be ourselves from the moment we were born. And because it's my experience, I want to include in that people who live with chronic illness. Struggle is inherent to our lives, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. For both sensitive people and people who live with chronic illness, struggle is kind of our middle name. And that's where we get into trouble, unknowingly. Because it's always been there, because we got a dose of it every day of our lives, we didn't notice that we were getting addicted to it. You know, it's like getting a little dose of meth every day of your life since the day you were born. It kind of makes it hard to recognize that you're addicted, and it makes it really hard to get clean. But once we see it, we can have the desire to do it. Even though some days I hate to admit it, I do believe that we create our reality. And that can really suck. Because if our life is hard, it's like, I'm not stupid. I would never do this to myself. I don't want it. There's no way I'm creating this. It wouldn't make any sense to do so. And I get it. My life's main theme has been struggle. I struggled with chronic illness since I was a child. I struggled with money my entire adult life. And I've struggled with dysfunctional relationships my whole life as well. I mean, why the heck would I create this for myself? Again, no sense at all. So even though we can kind of debate, and someday I'd be on the other side of the debate, that we actually can and do create our reality, for the purpose of this discussion, let's say that we do and that we have the power to do that. So from there, why would we create hardship? Most of us are not masochists. So what's the deal? Here's the only question that can suggest that it makes sense. What if it was done from love? What if we got something out of it? And I know I've been told that before in my personal growth journey, and man, I hated it because it was kind of told from a place of shame, or anyway, that's how I received it. There was like an air of superiority, like, oh, little girl, you don't understand, you are not aware of the truth of how life works. It just always really, really irked me. Anyway, right now I'm at a point in my life where I'm really, really looking into this. And why am I doing this now? Because this aspect of struggle in my life and repetition of patterns and struggles is no longer tolerable. I want to free myself. So because I don't like to preach, What I'm going to do is share the experience of what I'm going through right now. It's often the way I do it. I share my personal stories, and there are some little gems in there, maybe a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of hope, a little bit of how-to, or hey, we're in this together or something. So it's what I'm going to do again here today. All my life, I felt like a part of me was trapped, like this magic thing was locked in a cage. And the more I've become aware of this beautiful, magical something that is trapped, the more it grew. The bigger it got, and the tighter the fit has been feeling in that cage. Until at some point, it just became so tight in there that the pressure of the bars of that cage began to make that part of me, that magic part of me, bleed. And that is the pain that is no longer tolerable for me. My wildness is trapped inside of me, and I need to set it free. I need to break out. I need to jump the fences and go play with the other wildies. I cannot stand to be enclosed and contained anymore. That magic thing, I want it out. I want to live from it. And this is my motivation. So what have I been getting out of creating a life of struggle? If you're doing some inner work, you've learned, you know that some of our false beliefs and patterns come from our childhood. We created patterns to get us what we needed in life. And those patterns as adults, like why would I create a life of struggle, don't make sense once we're an adult. But they're ingrained, they're there, and they are a driving force in the reality that we create for ourselves. What I found is that as a child, what did I get from being sick, from struggle? It was to get the love that I needed. Later in high school, I learned that success, which means no struggle, equaled being ostracized and being alone. Because in first year of high school, I was doing well. I was ranking number 1 as a student. I was better than average in sports. Teachers liked me, boys liked me. And this girl started a club that she called the Gang Against Annie Paquette. And she created badges for people, and she bullied my friends into joining because if they didn't, there were going to be consequences. So I was left alone, and what I absorbed from that was that being successful and doing well and shining my light was going to get me ostracized and being alone. So I started dimming my light and changing my behavior and hiding my smarts from then on. It's also the year I developed ulcerative colitis, so go figure. Something else that I've discovered that I gained from struggle later in life, even right now, is that sharing my struggle makes me relatable, right? My upcoming book, these videos, it's about sharing struggle, and this is how we connect. This is how I feel connected to you. This is how my heart opens and how I feel your heart. So the struggle part is still giving me some reward and something that has value in my life. Struggle gives meaning to my life. And that's a belief that's a little bit of a problem. Through these beliefs, I created an identity for myself. And what is that identity? It's that Annie is courageous, graceful, and beautiful in the midst of struggle. And that's who I am. I mean, I remember like a really particular incident a few decades ago. I was very sick, throwing up in the bathroom. And once, in the middle of the night, I had been there for a while and I was naked on the floor, throwing up. And my then boyfriend came in and looked at me and said, "Even in this, you are so beautiful." So he was seeing my courage and my beauty in almost dying. So great fuel for my false belief. And the other thing that I've discovered is, as a wild woman at heart that needs intensity out of life, How do I get my thrills? I get my thrills from overcoming adversity. So it's all pretty interesting. So beyond this 3D life reality, underneath the surface, at the level of creation, here is the challenge I face, the existential crisis that I need to solve. Without the struggle, who am I? If I free myself from struggle and become successful, how, where do I get my love? How do I give meaning to my life? How am I relatable? The last thing I want to be, and I should not say this, I don't want anybody to hear this, but anyway, is somebody who has overcome all the struggle in life and then kind of talks to people from a pedestal to all of those who have not figured it out. This is not who I am. This is not how I want to relate to people. So that relatability issue is a problem, because right now there is a part of me that says that if I'm successful, I am losing my connection. And how do I get my thrills? I mean, how will I show the world that I am strong and courageous if I'm not struggling? And why is that important to me? It's important because I have come to believe that worthiness comes from courage and overcoming. So that's the portrait. That is the sound that is playing in the background of my life right now, as I feel that I am on the edge of success and freeing myself from struggle, because my motivation is really strong and I am doing the inner work to get out of that pattern. As I feel that I am on the cusp of transformation, there is a part of me that is freaking out. The part of me that has lovingly created struggle in my life to provide me with the love and the things that I needed and wanted, it is terrified that it's about to die. So it's trying really hard in really creative ways to make me doubt everything and to sabotage my efforts, because it is trying to protect me. That is the crazy part. It is not a mean part. The parts of us that create these things in our lives that don't make sense and that make life hard, they are trying to protect us. So, having all these things brought to my awareness, I want to share what I'm actually doing about it. Because if some of you are or choose to be on a similar path because you want to change your life, I think I might be onto something. And I'm not the first one to talk about this, but I'm just sharing my experience. So I'm just going to share what I'm doing, and maybe it brings something to you. One, I am working on my relationship with the part of me that has been creating struggle because she loves me. And two, I am creating a new narrative, a new storyline to, one, tell her that I really appreciate what she's done and that I am not trying to kill her in any way. And instead, I am finding ways to redefine our relationship and her role, and acknowledging her talents and her skills, and telling her that her amazing powers of manifestations could now be used for something else. It can now be used to create success and freedom. We can work as a team consciously to set ourselves free and go play with the wildies. Because what she's been doing was done out of love, now I have to explain to her, give her a new storyline that says that being free is a good thing, that it is safe, that if she uses her manifesting powers to create a life of success, it will get us the love that we need. So how do I create this new narrative? And what is that new narrative? Well, this morning, I kind of got my answer. I got my script down. I went out for a hike before sunrise, and I got to an area where I was met with a pack of coyotes. I felt a profound sense of love. I felt a sense of connection with the all that is. When my wildness is among the wilderness, I get everything. It's all there. Everything I need is right there. And if she, my little one, who thinks that it's only through struggle that I can get this, can now hear this, then she just might use her amazing powers to support this new path. So this is my new narrative, the new storyline. By replacing struggle with success and with money and freedom, we're going to go to all kinds of wilderness. We're going to be filled with love. We are going to get our thrills. We will find connection, and we will find meaning, and we will find a way to inspire people from a place of pure beauty. So I don't need this huge butterfly. Wow. Okay. One of my worries, a profound one, is wondering, how do I inspire people if I am successful and if I'm without struggle? But when I was out there in the wilderness today with the coyotes, at some point I saw like 8 heads coming above the bushes and just checking me out, and then they started howling in the valley, and they started going up on the hills above and posting themselves just to observe me. I knew that if I immersed myself in that without struggle, with my heart opened, that I would find a way to communicate something to all of you, to other people, that will be inspiring and meaningful. So this is what's going on with me these days. This is what I am looking at in order to change my life, as I am at a moment where I think things just might change in a wonderful way. And I want to say, this kind of deep work is not for every day of our lives. Life is not all about personal growth. I refuse to believe that. A lot of life is just about living and experiencing everything as much as we can. But when we hear a calling that tells us this is a moment to take the next step and to look deeper, this is when it's important to say yes if we want to change our lives. That's when it's time to dive in. And that's what I'm doing right now. I am answering the call. Have a good week. I will see you soon. I love you. I love connecting with you. And I will always find a way to connect with you, even if it's about something else. Anyway, I love you. See you soon. I just came across a pack of coyotes. Their heads were popping up all over here. I saw at least 8. There's one. hearing the grunting of javelinas. I am being watched. That one on the hill on the left is still watching me. This guy. There's a couple of them going to higher ground. I think this howling is all about me. Thank you. I see you watching me. I can see 3 up there just observing. Oh, there's a 4th. Ooh, I think that might have been a mountain lion. That was way bigger. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was an amazing morning.